Salvete omnes, it's your favorite magister here, Merla Remus Cicero. Kind of aptly named because today we're going to be diving into Cicero's Pro Caelio, section 42. And the main subject that we're going to be dealing with today is life and the various stages within that. That's something old Blue Eyes knows a little something about himself. We're talking about life, we're not talking about the weird 2017 movie with Jake Gyllenhaal and the weird squid alien. We're talking about the Roman ideals of how a young man should spend his life versus the realities and how aware they are of that. So let's get started. Dive right in. Therefore, it's going to be the quo bono rem. Therefore, or for this reason or for this matter, if you were to find someone, of the sort who was to close their eyes to the beauty of the matters of things, of life, so to speak, to someone who closes their eyes to the finer things in life, that no sweet smell and no touch, no flavor captivates them, that they close their ears to all the sweet sounds, that this man, I myself might think that and a few others might think that the gods were smiling on them, but many others might, however, believe that they were angry. So what he's talking about here is that he, obviously as Cicero, is a very virtuous man and believes that while that might be the virtues that he champions in his own life, he realizes that many would see that no one's perfect, and it's not necessarily a bad thing to partake in, so to speak, the sweet nectar of life or the finer things, and that's a reality. So let us continue. It is only, therefore, logical to abandon this deserted path, forsaken as it is, undertrodden tangle of branches and overgrowth, kind of a forest path, if you will. Let the youth have some play. Let young men live a little too freely. Not everything should be denied to the pleasures of life. Not the true and direct kind of rationality should not always be championed. Let desire and kind of lust, let desire and pleasure sometimes overcome rationality, so long as in this way there remains some semblance of moderation and a limit to these things. So kind of here the great scale of life that you can partake in some stuff, some Greeking around on the side, as long as overall you're striking a good balance. Here he goes into kind of the do's and don'ts. It says young men should not necessarily be sexually active, nor should they push that upon other peoples. They should not waste the wealth of their families, as we can see here with this disgrace to whatever family he's a part of. He should not waste the family wealth. They shouldn't be savaged by usury. They shouldn't break into somebody's house and home, and they shouldn't disgrace the chaste, dishonor on the upright, shame on the good, as it were. And they should not frighten people with threats of violence, nor should they take part in insidious plots, and nor should they commit crimes. And here we have a very strong use of some anaphora with the nay 7 times, as we can see right here. And I also want to go back to earlier when we have, with this qui, we open kind of this clause of a relative clause of characteristics of, since it's a man of such a sort which so-and-so, and kind of goes on to some antithesis here, which is a rhetorical device. Alright, finally, post-rema, after when they have followed these bodily urges and devoted some of their time to the lechery and the activities of adolescence, they should eventually sometime return their efforts to their own business and the business of the domestic business, the business of the courts, the business of the public, to the end that it would seem that they have had enough of all the things they hadn't thought about rationally, and to have rejected them on the basis of experience. And that's gerund. So what he's saying here is that after you've kind of had your summer of play, as it were, you throw yourself and your attentions back into the domestic sphere, and having done this, you will have the rationality and you will have had the experience to understand that you can reject that which is not virtuous in its own right. So thank you for watching. We have some beautiful experience, never goes out of fashion, because as you return from your wanderings of adolescence, you are now as experienced as Robert De Niro. After you've had your play, being flushed with cash, but not wasting the family fortune, as John Ralphio does, or kind of having your parties, your beach parties, with good old Gatsby here. So thank you for watching. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Volete omnes.